Hello, gentle viewers. This is Avindian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 21. Uh, we had kind of a season to forget. We did miss the playoffs, which is unfortunate. But wait, or am I making that up? Or did we actually win? No, we didn't make the playoffs. I was thinking of a different series. Um, but you know what? We have won several world championships, and this is always going to be a season in transition, so I'm not that fussed by it. Um, we got very good seasons out of many of our players, and some that were pretty terrible. Um, but we have a couple of things working for us in this coming season. Um, First of all, we have the unexpected. Um, Amaya. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just throw you on the 40 man now, so I don't forget. Um, that's a no brainer. Um, we do have some interesting options coming up in the next couple of seasons. Um, and we have several talented players in the mid to high minors, but we don't have many in the low minors that have really elite level potential. And that's really something we need to address in, at the very least, the medium term, if not the short term. Victor Salinas did not play the whole year at AAA, but I'm of two minds about Salinas. We did have Went play second base last season. Um, and he indeed was a baseball player. He also actually played about as much shortstop as he did second. He was a bad hitter. We did bring in Luis Soto, who at least had some talents. I don't know what those are, but there were some of them. Um, Delgado finally got his chance to play a full major league season, and what I saw wasn't that impressive. He was pretty good defensively, but he wasn't good enough to justify his mediocre bat. Um, and getting Corona Jr. back is going to be a big boost to this offense as well. All of this is definitely things that happened. But we need to decide what the way forward is. And the way forward might very well include Mr. Salinas, who I think is pretty close to being ready. He's already got the hitting for contact down. He's had a good on base percentage every season but his partial season in Double A last season. He's been slightly below average in the field, but there's definitely room for improvement there. I think I'll probably give him a shot in spring training to see if he can earn to win out. Because frankly, all of the middle infield spots are free as far as I'm concerned. Um, let's check arbitration. We have a whole bunch of players who are all up for potentially very large raises. And that's one of our biggest issues right now. Is that our bottom line is already razor thin. And if the owner thinks we're going to lose money, then we're going to have some issues. All right. So let's start with Rocky Bernal. I have no problem giving him a 1 year deal. I'm going to ignore that. I can give you your arbitration amount and not a penny more. Herrera is fine. I really don't know what to do about Andy Neal. I really don't. His lack of control just continues to be a major issue for him. Now, will converting him into a full time reliever fix that? Maybe, but also maybe not. Mike Reese, and again. Hirschauer, I can't give you that much money. Soto, I'm just gonna non-tender you. You're $5.5 million. I'd like to spend somewhere else, please. Delgado is fine. Here's my big issue. I love Jose Vasquez. I really do. And if it wasn't for his talent last season, we would have been utterly screwed. But $15 million is an absurdly high amount of money. Especially when it's pretty unlikely. Like, here's what I'm concerned about. If I spend the money to re-sign Jose Vasquez, especially if he's asking for $15 fucking million, which is frankly absurd. You know what, Bernal? I will go ahead and just sign you for not 40,000. I'm not that mean. Yeah, I'm just gonna sign the 1 year deals with everyone that I can, just so I don't have to worry about it. No way, dude. There you go. I don't know what to do about Vasquez. He is something I can't afford. I just can't. So I guess the obvious solution is to trade him, right? But then who starts in center field if I do trade him? And look, was Amaya better in Double A? He was, but I also still think he's kind of raw. And much like Moreno last season, I don't want to rush him this season. Like, I'm actually thinking of having him play a bit more Double A to start the season and then upgrading him to Triple A only about halfway through. I don't want to rush him either. I do have Jared Boyd, who is a baseball player. I've got Everman, who could maybe play shortstop or second base for us next season. Um, yeah. I could have Dwyer start in center field again. I mean, he wasn't great last season defensively, but he was at least okay offensively. Maybe that's my solution. Um, but yeah, I don't have the money to give Jose Vasquez $15 million in arbitration. I just don't. If I do that, we're actually crippling the team because I won't be able to spend on other players, um, who are much more important to the future success of this team. If I could get Vasquez to settle for a much lower amount, all right. Let's talk numbers, my dear friend. How's about 10 million? Not even close. His demands actually went up. How about 11 million? No, he's not gonna sign. He wants his money. And here's the thing, right? I cannot afford to pay him. So here's where I'm at. I can trade him now, and there's a lot to be said for that. It is highly unlikely his value will ever be as high now as it was in the past. I can have Dwyer fill in at center field for a season if I need to, and then I can put this money to re-signing Corona, who is arguably much more important to this team's success. Arguably. But Corona's been much more consistent. Whereas Vasquez was amazing this season and was not so good the season before, and he was pretty good the season of 2030. So I think we trade him. And I'm going to ask for all kinds of players, and I'm going to see what is offered to me. I'm mostly being offered relief pitchers. I wish I could tell you I'm surprised, but I'm not. I mean, I'm being offered amazing relief pitchers, but that's not really going to cut it for me. Alright, this is clearly too much for the AI to handle. Ooh, what is your deal? You're a power-hitting third baseman with pretty decent defense. And Jose Delgado was certainly not an impressive third baseman. I will think about you. You know what? Let's stick to batters. I really don't need to be overwhelmed with 10,000 relief pitchers. Okay, I've got a lot of people in the 50s range. Victor Lara used to be my player. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, actually. I would think about that trade, because we could definitely use an upgraded second base. And at third base. For sure. No, not Juan Ramirez. I don't think there's enough there. It's not worth the money. There's Alejandro the Pie. Good power and discipline, but otherwise not very impressive. Jesus Perez is a wonderful hitter who I wouldn't trust to play any position. Not much excitement there. Why are you coming up? Oh, because I selected batters. Let's narrow it down still farther and go infielders. You know what? Yeah, let's go infielders. Alright, I'm going to look at any 50 who play second or third. I know what Robert Moore can do, and I didn't think it was that great the first time. Mayo is fine, I guess. Frederick King is interesting. But I mean, Salinas is basically already him. You're in the maybe pile. I might be persuaded to trade for Frederick King. Or Frederick King here. Because here's my thing about second base, actually. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go call third base. My thing about getting a second baseman is Salinas is going to fill that role sooner or later, so a super young second baseman doesn't help me. Escobedo, you look like you are acceptable, and that's the nicest thing I can say about you. Can you, in fact, play third base? Not very well. Um... Mm-mm. Remember, this is really done in the name of payroll flexibility. And Andronikashvili is pretty tempting as a third base prospect. Let's think about this deal first. Can I get any of your top-notch prospects? I'm almost positive the answer to that is no. Like, I imagine to get a player with, like, Jordan Diaz, I'd have to give up an awful lot. Probably more than I want to. But let's make the offer, right? That's it? I mean, Tim Watt could be very good someday, but that day is pretty far in the future. Alright, what if I throw in Jose Delgado? Doesn't move the needle. Oh dear. So in case you're wondering, why am I grabbing both players? That's actually a really good question, and I don't know the answer. I'm gonna drop you. I will offer Jose Ramirez in exchange for this. And I'm gonna see if I can get you to throw in someone else. Like a medium caliber prospect. What about Chris Canfield? Okay, I can get Canfield, who at least would be a good second baseman if I desperately needed one. Andy Green, maybe? You know what? I will throw in Steve Botkin. And then I will try to acquire like one more down ballot style player like Luis Romero. And how about Danny White? He'll think about it. Honestly, I will take that deal if they accept it. I'm just going to finish a couple of days. Because let me tell you why I'm doing this. This significantly upgrades one position in the field. Okay, so we had lots of people sign, and they're all happy about that. I'm not going to let this deal get torched over Danny White. I'm going to make this trade. Done. And this was all about Jordan Diaz. Now, I know that he does have some issues. And we're probably going to want to try to have someone else play third base for a season. Like the Delgado, I'm still not sure why I traded him. That was kind of dumb. But we've got Canfield, who can handle himself at second if we need to. Um, I probably won't start Diaz at A ball or right in the majors though. So I'm still gonna need somebody. But this was about making sure that we at least had a chance this season to make some other moves. I don't like what I had to do, but I did do it. I would like you to be in double A ball, please, Mr. Diaz. Because you definitely owned A ball. I'm going to let you play double A, and we'll hopefully see you hit the majors within the next season or so. I have Mills I can call up to play second as well. There are options to be had now. I feel a little bit better about that element. Alright. Let us advance to Gold Glove winners. Sure, you can come back. Alright, now what are we looking at here? I still have no money for extensions, which is the bad part. But I do at least have some money for free agents, which I guess is nice. I am going to submit a qualifying offer to Corona Jr. And here's the thing. I'm pretty sure he's going to take it. He'd be kind of silly not to. But I think it's worth it. I genuinely think it's worth it, even if he accepts it. And if he decides to test the market, I get a pretty nice... I'll get a decent draft pick out of it. Hey, last season was testing the outfield. This season is testing the infield, right? I could even have Moreno playing center this season if I wanted to. I got no Gold Glovers. Sad face. No. Hey, a Silver Slugger for Adley Rutschman. What a guy. I'm just curious. Did Vasquez get a Silver Slugger too? And then, no, he did not when a guy hit 64 fucking homers. How are they finding these players? How do so many teams seem to have these amazing hitters that hit like 50 plus homers a year? And I've never had one. I don't get it, my dudes. Lawson is healthy again. That's good news. Did you deny Jack Leiter another Cy Young Award? Okay, Chris Roper, fuck you. You led the league in ERA only. Jack Leiter led the league in everything else that mattered. This was a bad call. And I think everyone who voted for him should feel ashamed of themselves. You got sucked in by a gaudy ERA. That's bullshit. And this is going to be one of those stupid, oh, but Tampa Bay made the playoffs. I don't think they did they? Yeah, they were a bottom basement team. That's my fucking Cy Young Award. I think they're just looking for reasons not to give it to Jack Leiter at this point. You damn communists. Well, I got Villarreal to come back. Yeah, dude, I don't know what you thought you were getting into there, but that was a pretty stupid thing to expect. Okay, so Corona declined the qualifying offer. I don't blame him at all. I think he probably made the right decision for him. Now, this does mean that we actually have openings in most of the infield. Apart from first base, we don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of room. What are my custom filters here? Okay. Would it be crazy to bring him back on a 1-year deal? Like, am I insane for even bringing it up? Or is that actually, like, a really good idea? I could just re sign Corona Jr. I don't know that's the boring play, but maybe it's the right play. Like, I definitely don't want to have to replace two different and like my entire infield this season. Yeah, we'll do it, and we'll see what he takes. And if he says no, that's ridiculous, and someone else signs him, then someone else signs him. I will activate all those people because that's just how this works. I'm not going to give up Ocasio for anything really, but definitely not right now. All right, it's Hall of Fame voting time. Jose Altuve, yes. No issues there. Javier Baez, meh. Come on, guys, let's get Big Sexy into the Hall. I'll vote for Cruz again. I've got to give Andrew McCutchen a nod just because of that dummy thick WAR. That's pretty exciting. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton seems to be pretty easy. How do you get 400 homers but just over 1,000 hits? That strikes me as a very incomplete player. All right, we got 5 spots left. And I see a lot of players who strike me as kind of borderline. Because the problem is a lot of these starters are all roughly the same, and I'm having a hard time in my brain sorting out who should or should not make it. Joe Mauer, he deserves to be in. Um, I do like Buster Posey. I'll vote for him too. David Price is a skosh better than these other starters who are all roughly the same talent level. Um, and I'll vote for Chris Sale too. And I might actually leave my last. No, I'll vote for Molina. I don't think it's gonna matter, but I'll do it. There's my ballot. To winter meetings. You will give me meh and meh for meh. And I'm not giving up Josh Roberts. I like the role he plays on this team. So right now I don't have an opening day third baseman, center fielder, shortstop, or first baseman. Although that's just because Santoy needs to get healthy. So that's only 3 positions I need to refill. Corona Jr. seems pretty happy. No, you're not getting Everman. In fact, Everman is on my short list of major league replacements as well. Especially if Corona Jr. doesn't resign, he's going to be my shortstop, and if not, he might be my second baseman. Or Salinas. I haven't decided how we're settling that issue. All right, we did get Corona Jr. back, so that's wonderful news. That's one less thing for me to worry about. So I really need a third baseman or a second baseman, or both. And if you're going to ask me, well, Avi, which of those positions is going to be easiest for you to fill? It's probably going to be third base, because Micah Burns is legitimately. You're doing it again, game. Is legitimately an excellent third baseman. And if I have to let Pat Wendt play second base again, I'll live with that. It's not my favorite solution to the problem, but it is a solution. I kind of wouldn't mind getting a center fielder, but I've kind of forfeited most of my. Money. I think any other upgrades have to come through trades. I wish my owner would just shut up about the payroll. That's the thing that frustrates me the most. I wonder. No, you want even more money than you're earning now. I can't afford that. I hope I don't have to make that choice. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. Oh, Mike Reese, you delusional sausage. I am not giving you that much money. You're a reliever. You're not even a closer, dude. You're a reliever. And you've been a damn good one. Don't let me disagree with that point. But I'm definitely not paying you like a starter. Alright, here's what I would like to do for you. I'm gonna give you a 5-year deal at $3 million a year, and you just basically say no to that. Okay, fair. All right, 5 years. I'm gonna increase each year by a few $100,000. How about that? Nope. Okay. I will revisit with you later on. We'll figure something out as far as filling his last couple of slots. Oh, you're absolutely not getting Jordan Diaz after I just spent a fair sum to secure his services for myself. Just no. I'm a bit concerned about his range, which is why I'm letting him play in Double A. Brooks Lee isn't any better or worse than the players I've already got. I don't need a right fielder. So here, I guess, is my concern. I know a lot of people are knocking on the door about Josh Roberts. And there's still nothing that says Solis couldn't do the job as well, except that he's still pretty raw. And I'd like to see him improve a bit more before I commit to him. I do need a third baseman. That goes without saying. Do I really want to use a 40-man spot on Devin Main just to make sure that no one else can grab him? Maybe. Okay. Diaz, you're on the 40-man. Canfield, I don't really care about. Oh, Everman, you're on the 40-man. Other than that, I really don't care who is or isn't here. I guess I don't want to lose Man. He at least has a lot of upside as a relief pitcher. Yeah, alright. I'll put him on the 40-man too. But yeah, I don't really care about the rest of this. So what might end up happening, actually, is Burns plays third, and maybe Everman plays second, because Everman is a little bit better at hitting than Went. Although I'm also not that fussed by letting Went play at second for the season, or at least saying if Salinas can earn the job in spring training, maybe. I am not creating another hole to fill the center field hole. Let me set Bobby Dwyer to center and see if that gets people to leave me alone for a bit. It probably won't, but it's fine. Do I really need you to repeat Double A again? We're ready to test you in Triple A. I think I'm ready to let you start the year at AAA and see what you can manage. I'm a little bit sad actually about losing Vasquez when he was so good last season, but I had to get what I could for him, and I think we've at least addressed another spot long term. All right. Until my next pick, please. What is available, my dear friends? Eh. Eh. Really, it's a bunch of players I'm not all that interested in. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this draft. I don't think I need anything from this draft. Yeah. No. Of all the players that might trade to address a weakness in season, I think Mike Reese is very, very high on that list. Because even though he's been an incredible part of this bullpen, I've got lots of guys that are ready to step up. No. Please stop offering me mediocre second basemen who aren't any better than the players I've got now. Wow. Apparently no one liked Joe Jimenez. Good to know. How is the team chemistry now, by the way? Interesting. Hall of Fame voting time. No, you communists. How can you let Bartolo Colon not make the Hall of Fame? Ugh. Yikes. I'm actually not that bothered by it, but I'm a little bit sad. The Joe Mauer thing is more of a head scratcher to me. I don't see why he didn't make it into the Hall of Fame. Because he is better than the average Hall of Fame catcher. And I think the problem is that they don't understand how good he was as a catcher. Because I don't think he's like a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I definitely think Joe Mauer is a Hall of Famer. I mean, Jose Altuve made it, and Stanton almost did, which is interesting because generally it's a player like Giancarlo Stanton gets all the fucking second chances because of his home run totals. But, you know, we've got people that have pretty silly amounts of home runs in our leaderboard right now. Like, Yordan Alvarez is going to be your all-time home run leader probably this season, maybe next. Which is just, you know, silly. Gleyber Torres has almost 700 homers. I don't think that's realistic at all, but whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of people racing up these home run boards. Yeah, look at these weird years where people are just like hitting 60 and 50 home runs like it's a joke. I don't know why I can't do that. Why can't my players randomly hit 50 home runs? Look at my poor lineup. It's like, please fill me. In due time, my friends. In due time. Nope. Do I trade Mike Reese now? I can easily eat the loss. Better than I can a few other losses. And I'm not bringing him back. Like, there is 0% chance that I'm bringing him back. What could I get in a prospect if I traded Mike Reese? That is not, by the way, another relief pitcher. Although, there are guys like Andy Parker who, holy shit, Andy Parker. My scout doesn't like you quite as much, but that's still pretty nice. Juan Garnica, a power-hitting, disciplined second baseman. Very tempting. Tim Burge. Eric Wooderson. Now, this is an intriguing player. You're a pretty decent offensive catcher, but you're admittedly not that great defensively. I can probably do better. Can get some Jose Romero in my life, who's just the worst at third base, but is otherwise quite nice. I mean, a guy like Tim Burge is a pretty good replacement straight up for Reese, who will cost me very little money over the next few seasons. Juan Garnica is a possible choice. He had a very fine year in Double-A last season, but I do have some pretty good second base prospects. I could get Tyler Brown, who is theoretically even better. And look at his ability at first base. Like, holy shit. Like, we're talking a pitcher who hits like a first baseman. I think I'm in love. I need him. Give him to me. I will use him as the ultimate fucking pinch hitter. Hell, I could even have him play in place of Josh Roberts in the future. Like, I'm sorry that you're upset about losing Reese, team, but I'm not. Like, not even a little bit am I upset. Because Brown is a classic, possibly amazing two-way player. Oh, you are definitely a two-way player, my dude. Like, you have the potential to be just an amazing player at both positions. So you are 100% playing both positions, my guy. Yeah. That happened. Okay. – Again, why would I trade you a better version of the player you want? I don't get it. No. I have lots of good fielding middle infielders in my system. No. Game, stop, please. I get why you're making these offers, right? I understand it. You're offering me players that you think I want. And I'm not even saying I wouldn't give up Josh Roberts necessarily. I mean, Kevin Garner is a really good center fielder. Juan Silva's not very interesting, though. Oh, sorry, game. Wait, who just got hurt? You herniated a disc, Pat Went. Why did you do that? That was not very nice of you. Alright, let's get people called up for some spring training reps. Salinas. Castillo. Boyd? Boyd. Valtierra, sure. Yes, I agree with all of those decisions. John Rivera, you did okay at high A. I'm going to promote you to double A. I need to start seeing serious improvement in your game, though. Tim Locke, you did fine in high A, and you're already 21, so I'm going to promote you too. Kessler, you're off my list. And Rhodes, you're off my list. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let you set all of the lineups. We're going to go to a 6-man rotation, as I generally do. Chris Thomas, the training wheels now come off. You've had 2 consecutive seasons of 100-plus innings, and I think you're ready for a harsher workload. Any changes here? Luciano is losing his stamina a bit. He is on the wrong side of 30. Corona Jr. is hitting more for contact, which is pretty crazy. Smart just got randomly better. Rivera got worse. And nothing else too shocking there. If I can honestly get Corona Jr. to be a dedicated contact guy, he would be a tremendous help. I would be very pleased with that development. Ocasio injured himself somewhat. I guess that's fine. Well, you're going to miss opening day, Pat Went. I'm just lost my backup center fielder for 4 weeks. I don't like that. I think you should stop. Juan Ocasio tore his labrum. I didn't approve of that. Look, you all know the rules. If you want to be injured, you have to ask my permission. That's just how it goes. Dozier's gonna take some time to recover. It is what it is. How can you have a dead arm when you haven't pitched in like 8 months? Come on, bro. Finish today, just so that... Okay, all the games are done. Now let's start setting the roster. We currently have 18 pitchers. That's way too many pitchers. I don't need 18 pitchers. Man. My dude, you can start in AAA, but you are nowhere near Major League ready. Lonzon, I still think you could be a starter. How many years have you started in the minors? In AAA? You haven't had... You actually have had one full season. You're going to be next man up, I think. I think that's your role to play. You could also be the 5th starter, if I'm honest. Oh, Valtierra, no. Amavisca, no. Morales, definitely no. Who pitchers does that leave me with? 14. I'd like to demote one more, please. Lonzon, I have to, because Willett's out of options, and you're not Lonzon. Sorry, my guy. Hopefully you enjoy your off season. Now, I don't know who the 5th starter is going to be. It might actually be Dozier. It might be Willett. Let me set Dozier to starting pitcher and see what that looks like. Yeah, Willett might be better as a 5th starter. That's pretty crazy, but that may be what we're looking at here. Poor Dozier, every season just does what I ask him to, and he still never gets any respect. Sorry, dude. Alright, that brings me to 13 pitchers, some of whom will be actually also contributing offensively as well, especially Jose Castillo and Tyler Brown, but not by much. Alright. So I currently have 20 position players. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. Alright, Jordan, you need more polish. You're starting in AA this season. Probably with a very short route to AAA. Salinas, you did get a bit better. You've improved your batting eye a bit, but I don't think I'm sold on you opening the season on the roster. I think I'd like to let you get a couple hundred at bats more in AAA before I call you up. Boyd, you were never starting. It may seem cruel to you, but it's the facts. Demoting you. Demoting you. No, actually, he can stay up in the majors. Grulon, you're the designated hitter. You were never going to be playing any position other than that. Actually, I do like the idea of keeping my Finnish guy. Maybe not. And it is a 26-man roster, so I do need to send 2 more people down. Solis, obviously. I don't need him. And then it really comes down to Mills or Tharp. or Everman? And it's obvious, it's Mills. Because Mills is just a worse version of Everman. Give me a prospect for Mr. Mills, and you can have him for your very own. No, not interested? Okay, fine. Then I will just waive you. Yeah, because Mills is just a not as good version of Everman. And Everman, you're only going to be in the big leagues until Went recovers. Once he's healthy, I'm sending you back down. Because you do have at least a little bit more room to grow, right? And I would like to see you grow as a player, but I don't want to rush it. And how long are you out for, Horacha? 1 to 2 weeks. I will happily carry you on the roster. Does everyone needs to be on the 40-man? Are they on the 40-man? They appear to be. Castillo is not. Welcome to the 40-man, Mr. Castillo. That's all of them. Okay. So we're going to advance up to the day of opening, and then I will set our rotation and our lineup. And we'll go from there. Top 100 prospects. No Orioles in the top 10. I'm not sure why that is. How does it look? Are we, like, bad now? No. You've randomly sent Amaya to 6th. I don't get that. 16th. We're still the 6th best farm system, though. So we can settle with that knowledge. There are some pretty damn good pitchers in the top few. If we just focus on the Orioles, when do we think some of these players will be ready? We think Amaya, Solis, and Diaz will all be ready this season, as should Salinas. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just don't want to rush them. I don't want to rush them at all. Especially Salinas, because I'd like to get a nice long career out of him. And I think we will have the most success if he just repeats AAA, gets a bit more confidence, and we go from there. Solis, I don't know what to do about you. You are dangerously good at your job. And I think that's probably the end of either Grulon or of Roberts on this team. Like, do you have, like, a flaw? You're not great against right-handed pitching, but you are an absolutely sensational hitter against hitters. Do I call you up now and let you be the designated hitter? So let's ask this question. If we don't have Grulon, do we have a leadoff hitter? And the answer to that question is no. It's just not particularly close. No one could be the leadoff hitter other than Grulon because no one else is as good at getting on base as he is. The other thought is getting rid of Roberts and then letting Solis be the other half of that platoon. And if he utterly dominates the way I expect, we maybe find other ways to get him in the lineup. A lot of people are asking about Josh Roberts. And as much as I don't like to hand off position players like I have been, I think Solis is too good to be kept in the minors any longer. All right. I'm looking for the best prospect I can get my hands on for Mr. Roberts. So the best, most raw, talented player is a relief pitcher. I don't know if I like trading him for a reliever. I guess we could throw in regulars and veterans and see if I get like an outstanding offer for a starting second baseman for 1 year or something. Yeah, this isn't really moving the needle. Who's on the trading block right now? I mean, Luis Carpio's not a great second baseman, but he's damn fine at getting on base. He'd make a great addition to this team, I'm just saying. Can I give you Josh Roberts for him? Oh, I can't afford him. Ah. I need you to eat his entire salary, basically. No? Okay. Be that way, game. Honestly, actually, no, I can't afford him. I can't afford him at all. You know what, Hedbert Perez? You've got a lot in your favor. You're a very good center fielder, and I think you can probably hit well enough in the majors. And I'd feel more comfortable having you and letting Dwyer slip into his more natural role. Let's trade for you. I'm going to give you Josh Roberts. He wants a little bit more. Have a bad player. Trade made. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Nicholas Mills from waivers. Oh, fine. AAA. I am then going to take my new player here, my pal Hedbert. I'm going to put you on Baltimore's roster. I'm then going to have Huaracha go down to the minors. I mean, fine. You can go on the injured list, I guess. And then Solis is going to be called up to play some first base for us. Because I've got Santoya for a very long time. And I see nothing to indicate that he won't be a very good first baseman for at least another 3 to 4 seasons. Well, it'll probably start getting a bit expensive, truthfully, but we'll survive. Who starts at second? Tharp or Everman? You know what? I'm actually okay with Tharp starting at second, and if he hits well enough, he might keep his job when Went is ready to play. Because Went is best designed as like a super utility guy, whereas Everman actually has enough offensive chops to maybe someday be a regular. And then I can set Dwyer to whatever offensive position seems best for him. Yes. Okay. Let's set up the team. Step numero uno. 5-man rotation, please. I need pitching ratings. I need Jack Leiter. And I need Luciano. You will be, I think, ready to take your first start, but maybe not. Chris Thomas is clearly the number 3 at this point. Brandon Hendricks is the number 4. And then I think Willett is going to be the 5th starter. Because although Dozier does have better control, Willett is a much better pitcher. Although, there's something to be said for Rocky Bernal starting, too. If I made you a starter, what would your rating be? You'd be rated as a 45. So you're actually much better as a reliever, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to let you do your thing. Man, I really don't know who to pick between Willett and Dozier. Because Willett's a good pitcher. He just doesn't have much control. And I'm really worried about an Andy Neal situation. Although, he's way better than Neal ever was at movement. And Willett admittedly does have 3 pitches and profiles as an extreme ground baller. I'm going to let you be the 5th starter, and we'll see how this works out for you. Okie dokie. Mr. Dozier, Bernal, Neal, and Perez are all varying degrees of long relievers. Go ahead and shift him back to reliever, just so that he's flagged correctly. All right. Martin Herrera, you get the job you've always had, and you've done very well at it. Brendan Hirschauer, you're going to be the closer. I want you pitching in the most important situation, so I'm not going to make you 8th plus. I'm going to make you 9th or later. No, I will make you 8th plus. I don't mind you pitching a bit more. Who is my next best pitcher other than Hirschauer? Probably Dozier? I think we'll just do Castillo as a reliever, Neal as a middle reliever, Tyler Brown as a middle reliever. And then I don't need 3 long men. So then the question becomes, who among them is most suited for being a long man? And that's going to be Bernal. You're going to be my long relief emergency starter. Sorry, you're going to be emergency starter long relief. Dozier's going to have the opposite role of long relief emergency starter, which puts Alex Perez in at middle relief. I'm halfway tempted to make Tyler Brown a setup guy, except for the fact I intend to use him as a pinch hitter. And I want to give him some reps at first base, too. Because you could be something truly spectacular. Alright, this works for me. And then as season progresses, we can adjust the relief load to fit the best pitchers. We're also going to be getting reinforcements back eventually in Map and maybe Jackson and maybe Ocasio, all of whom would definitely take the roster over most of the current relievers. Okay. Pitching staff is Dunsies. Alright. Let's nuke it. I hit the wrong button. I'm going to ignore that because I'm going to make my own decisions. Thank you. Okay. Not batting potential, please. Batting ratings, please. Alright. There's a lot to be said for Danny Moreno hitting third. especially with his incredible gap power, but we have to remember that Santoya looks worse than he actually is because he's amazing against right-handed pitching. Santoya's going to hit third. Grulon is going to be leadoff as a designated hitter. Please stop making him a third baseman. That's not his job. Okay. Easy decisions, both of those. Who's got the next best combination of contact and batting eye? Is it really going to be Moreno? Look, Moreno I expect will eventually be an order of the hitter guy, but I am perfectly fine with him batting second. I think he's got a lot to offer in that role. Cleanup? Oh, no. I've got a new idea. I've got a better idea. Adley Rutschman hits second. He's always gotten on base reasonably well, and his elite power, I think, will be a real boon to us there. Which then leaves Doug Smart to hit cleanup. Actually, we'll make Moreno hit cleanup, and then Doug Smart will hit fifth. Next in the roster is going to be Corona Jr. hitting sixth. I think that's reasonable. Tharp can start at second to add some pop to the lineup. Burns will hit third. And center field will be Hedbert Perez. Alright, then I'm going to copy this lineup. I'm going to switch to the left-handed lineup. I'm going to paste it. And then Bob Solis is going to hit at first base against left-handers. Alright, let's start filling out the rest of the roster. Nelson Vasquez is the utility guy. I'd honestly like to see him catch closer to 60 games, but Rutschman has been doing fine. Backup at first base is going to be Solis. And Tyler Brown. And you're also going to be a starter tired. A backup at every middle infield position is going to be Everman. I doesn't normally play third, but I'm sure he'll figure it out. Castillo can play left and right really, really well, but not as well as Dwyer. So I'm going to do Dwyer as the backup at all the outfield positions. Solis as the backup at DH. And then Castillo, you're going to be a backup against in left field and in right field. Starter tired. Number one pinch hitter is Solis with a bullet. Who else would we like to be a pinch hitter? Oh, Tyler Brown definitely is a pinch hitter. Then Vasquez, I guess, and then Castillo. That seems reasonable. Castillo is crazy fast, so he can go ahead and be a pinch runner. As can Bobby Dwyer. I'm going to copy just the depth chart. I'm going to paste it over here. And then we're just going to swap Solis and Santoya first. Solis is not going to be the number one pinch hitter. Brown will be, then Vasquez, then Castillo. Santoya will be an emergency kind of guy. And then Santoya can play here too. I'm really curious to see how well Solis plays. Because he's got a lot of potential. Especially for someone who barely played above high A. But then when he got to AAA, he just dominated it. And especially if especially if his power maxes out, man, Santoya might end up playing for a different team. We will see what happens though. But could you imagine a fully developed Moreno playing with Solis and Luis Amaya, and the three of them just like obliterating all of the offensive records? That'd be pretty exciting. But yeah, this is going to be our opening day roster. That roster will change relatively quickly in that we will get Pat Wendt and Danny Horacha back. Frankly, Horacha is probably destined for AAA for most of the season because Dwyer is here as his super mega number 4 player. Will Wendt take the place of Everman? He will, but only because I want Everman to play full time in the minors if we can manage it. I have no idea how good this offense is going to be this season. And I think it's no surprise that it's going to come down to, does Moreno improve? Because he had a pretty rough major league debut. Can Hedbert Perez stabilize center field for a season until Amaya's ready? How much offense is Chris Tharp going to provide at second? And is it going to be worth the terrible nature of his defense? Is Bob Solis going to just carry this team on his back and say, I'm the best hitter in the major leagues, you should be playing me every day? All of those things could be happening. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching. And until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.